This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather in New York and Connie Chung in Washington.
Good evening. Here on Capitol Hill, it's gavel down and curtain up on the first Republican-controlled Congress in 4 decades. The 104th Congress hit the House floor running and voting in a session that continued into the night. All of it under the eye of Newt Gingrich, the new Speaker of the House. Chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer begins our coverage.
Morning. Morning, Mr. Speaker. How are y'all doing?
The House Republicans waited 40 years for this day, so you couldn't blame new Speaker Newt Gingrich for beating the sunrise to Capitol Hill. And despite some Democratic apprehension, the sun did rise as usual. But that was all that was like it used to be. With families and friends present, the House floor is always a happy place on opening day. But Republicans wore the big smiles this time. Senators usually get most of the publicity, but today all eyes were on the House. Even the Senate's top Republicans strolled over to see the rare case of a fellow Republican being escorted in to become Speaker of the House. It brought a little gallows humor from the top House Democrat.
As you might imagine, this is not a moment that I had been waiting for.
But Gephardt graciously called it a time to celebrate what is rare in other countries, a peaceful change of power.
You are now my Speaker, and let the great debate begin.
The often acerbic Gingrich seemed genuinely touched. He pledged a real effort to work with Democrats. Turning early to welfare reform, he said he had only sought to find a better way when he spoke earlier of placing welfare babies in orphanages.
I am adopted. We have relatives who are adopted. We are not talking out of some vague, impersonal, Dickens, bleak house, middle-class, intellectual model. We have lived the alternatives.
Offering an olive branch to all sides, he declared neither had all the answers.
To those Republicans who believe in total privatization, you can't believe in the Good Samaritan and explain that as long as business is making money, we can walk by a fellow American who's hurt and not do something. And I would say to my friends on the left who believe that there's never been a government program that wasn't worth keeping, you can't look at some of the results we now have and not want to reach out to the humans and forget the bureaucracies.
There was some partisan bickering later, but that's as routine here as the official first-day call to the president. So the sun had set when everyone finally got down to business on the Republicans' first priority, overhauling the House rules. But there was some progress, and Gingrich said he'd finish the job if it took all night. It probably will. Bob Schieffer, CBS News at the Capitol.
President Clinton spent most of the day outside Washington, home in Arkansas. Mr. Clinton attended the dedication of a school named in his honor. The president called on the new Republican power brokers to, quote, discount the politics of personal destruction and pass his version of a tax cut for middle-income Americans. He also took questions from students.
Well, good morning. How do I deal with criticism? Better on some days than others. But it's important not to take criticism personally. That is, a lot of times people try to hurt you personally, and you can't let that happen.
The latest CBS News poll out tonight appears to support President Clinton's repeated contention that the Republicans may be overstating their claim of a public mandate for their agenda. For example, the CBS poll indicates health care reform remains a top priority with voters. Also, deficit reduction, one of the president's main goals, is ranked more important than cutting taxes.
But back here on Capitol Hill, that doesn't necessarily mean the Democrats are in any shape to resist the pull of Newtonian laws and Republican proposals. Instead, they're busy trying to stay alive and keep the stress cracks from showing, as correspondent Linda Douglas reports.
On their first day as the minority, Democratic leader Richard Gephardt declared his party won't roll over and play dead for the Republicans. Democrats, he said, will stand up and fight for their principles.
We will stand for our beliefs, just as the Republicans have over the last 2 years.
But Democrats can't agree on what those beliefs are. At a time when they need to stick together, they are pulling farther apart. They can't even agree on who should be leading their fight.